Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. It's with great news that I can reveal we are back to winning ways. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been too long, but it's a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is. Here are the 5 things that we've learnt from this weekend's action. The obvious place to start is the formation.
Yes.
I think that it was so good. Do you know what was the best thing about seeing it? Obviously, the result was great, but it's so nice to see a manager who's pragmatic enough and who sort of rolls with the punches. He sees something isn't working and he switches it up and he gets the end result. It was good, wasn't it?
Definitely. I think we all know that this is his preferred formation. He's played it at Juventus, he's played it at Italy. He tried us out, playing 4 at the back because that's what we're used to, but as you say, he's trying to implement his own ideas now and seems to reap the rewards.
It really did, and it's nice to look so solid at the back because what it allows us to do, depending on when we have possession, when we don't have possession, and how the game is going, we sort of either go 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, don't we? I think the 3-4-3 works very well.
Yeah.
And the reason it's so good is because when you don't have the ball, it allows the fullback to tuck in, the wing-back, to tuck in and kind of go 5 at the back. But also, you've then got the protection of the 2 in the middle, Conte and Matic.
Exactly,
which is just solid, isn't it? And we need that because we have been leaking goals. I think that was the first time we haven't conceded a goal for ages.
Yeah, we looked a lot more stable than we have in recent weeks. And I think, having that, the 3 at the back, 3 centre-backs, if you like, and then the double sort of penetration, the double layer of protection rather than penetration, getting a bit sexual here, in Conte and Matic. And I think, Hull really struggled to sort of break us down.
And another good thing about this new formation, and this is what really makes me happy, is it gives our keeper a bit of extra protection. I think it's his first clean sheet in about 8 games. It's good that it's happened. Courtois has been in the spotlight for not the right reasons lately. I think he was officially the worst keeper in the league, and some of his comments have infuriated you. Nice that he got a clean sheet, nice that he played well, made a couple of good saves. Yeah,
definitely. And if reports in today's paper are to be believed, he may even have a bit of competition coming his way in the shape of Joe Hart. Conte apparently was at the Torino game on Sunday. So
really?
Read into that what you will.
I like Joe Hart. I know that I'm about to get grief for this. I know that his performances have been terrible both for England and for City, and I understand exactly why Guardiola got him out. But I think that Joe Hart has a lot to give, and I wouldn't be completely against the idea of him coming to Chelsea. If for no other reason, no, I think that it can, hopefully something like that could inspire Courtois to really focus and get down and knuckle down. I don't think Joe Hart should be Chelsea's number 1. I think Joe Hart could really inspire Courtois to be. But
step up.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the important thing is this new look shape that we have, this kind of 3 at the back, 2 protecting, it's only going to do Courtois the world of good as well, isn't it? Number 2 is the defence. It's great to see this new shape. It looks solid. I'm pleased with it. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when Kurt Zouma and John Terry are back fully fit. Gary Cahill was captain the other day. He didn't do a bad job.
He did all right.
But do you think this 3 at the back, where Azpilicueta kind of tucks in as a 3rd centre-half, is here to stay?
I think it is. And interestingly, you talk about John Terry there. I read in the paper today that Cascarino, former Chelsea striker...
We don't need another hero. We've got Tony Cascarino.
Exactly. He reckons that John Terry is going to struggle to get back in the starting 11 with this new formation.
I think that's nonsense, Tony.
He's putting that down to a lack of pace. I'm not sure how much more pace Gary Cahill has got than John Terry. However,
he has got more. That's probably the one attribute that Cahill wins. I think that's the one fight that he wins with regard to Terry. But
does having 3 at the back then is the question?
Doesn't suit Terry.
Does that limit? But surely that's even more protection for him. I don't really get that argument. If Cascarino's saying John Terry's not going to get in that starting 11 because of his lack of pace, surely having 2, say a Cahill and a Lewis or Azpilicueta either side of him, who have got pace, is going to alleviate that problem. No?
I think that the issue would be, I'm very interested to hear your thoughts as well. Jack and I now have the argument. Please comment below, let us know what you think. I think the issue with the 3 at the back means because it's 3 at the back or 5, depending on what way you look at it, you have to play higher up the field because your midfield will be lightweight. You have to close the gap between. And I think therefore the higher line you play, the less effective John Terry is. I think John Terry is the best defender in the league defending in his own box. I think he's very good at marshalling a back 4, playing a 3 with a 2, and then I just think that back 3 will have to sit perhaps 5 yards further forward, maybe even maybe 10 yards further forward, may not be right for John Terry. So I actually think that when Terry and Zouma are fit, depending on the opposition, depending on what's going on with the club at the time, of course, but when Terry and Zouma are fit, I think that Chelsea will play a 4 at the back again.
But even though the Conte way seems to be
Look, it's very
centre-backs.
difficult and it will be very harsh.
That's his tried and tested way of working.
I think that we've discussed this already today, but I think that we know that Antonio Conte is a very pragmatic man and he will roll with the punches. He will do what's necessary depending on the opposition, depending on what's going on at the time. And if we're facing a side that a back four is more suitable against, we'll do that. If we need to go further forward, we'll do that. But I do think that John Terry, at his best, is still Chelsea's best defender, and therefore you pick the team to suit your best defender.
Yeah.
It's very harsh on players like Marcos Alonso, very harsh on players like Victor Moses, who have made those wing-back berths their own, haven't they? I think that Victor Moses was sublime.
Brilliant.
Sublime, easily my man of the match. I think Diego Costa deserves an honourable mention there, but Victor Moses would be man of the match for me. I think if you look over the other side, Marcos Alonso was also very solid.
Yeah.
But do we revert back to 4 at the back when John Terry is fit?
Is he going to... I mean, he missed out on so many of his first-choice centre-backs over the summer. You know, we ended up getting David Luiz in very last minute. Is he going to be looking again in January? Do we need to sign, you know, maybe the young lad from AC Milan?
This is so exciting and so interesting to discuss. But then I would say, I think that David Luiz is such a good player that he deserves a place in our starting lineup. But I think that Nemanja Matic, although, you know, he wasn't bad the other day, got an assist. I think he's got our most assists this season. He's got 2. But I think that David Luiz could then rival Matic in the middle. So you keep Luiz in the team. Yeah. You play 4 at the back.
I see what you mean. Push him.
You then take
forward.
Matic out. You put Luiz midfield alongside Conte.
Yeah, I'd like to see that actually. Yeah, I'd really like to see that.
I do enjoy these tactic talks.
So do I. Point 3, we're going to talk Diego Costa. What a fantastic start to the season Diego's had. We can't ask for much more, Rory.
You can't ask for much more. He was so bullish the other day. You know, he didn't have an effective first half, but what was great, when the chips were down, when it wasn't going his way, he didn't go into a strop, he didn't go into a sulk.
No.
He knuckled down, and that second half performance
the way he just bulldozed his way through, got a couple of lucky...
For the Willian goal.
Couple of lucky ricochets.
I completely agree. I think that we need to acknowledge his part in that goal, because obviously Willian, the cut in and the curl with the right foot was exceptional. It was a sublime finish, and you know, Willian can do that. We know he can. He needs to do it more often. I think that's important to note, but he can do that. But that chance never materialises without Diego Costa's ambition and drive and determination to keep winning the ball, keep winning the 50-50s, struggle through, fight through. You know, Diego Costa showed with his second goal that he's very good at the football part of football. The precise finishing, curling it, lethal. I think he scored a goal at Swansea that was very similar, you know, just like lethal, put it into the bottom corner. But he's also so good at the non-footballing parts of football, fighting, battling, you know, not having the ball.
Oh, against Hull, that was a consummate centre-forwards display, really, wasn't it? Had a bit of everything, you know. When he needed to, he was dropping deep, you know, back to goal, bringing players in, holding the ball up, you know, bringing these midfielders in. When he needed to go on a sort of lung-busting, you know, direct attack through the whole defence, he did. You know, when his few opportunities came along, he always looked dangerous and he always looked like he was going to score. And like you said, he didn't get into any argy-bargy. The referee wasn't, you know, looking to book him or send him off. And if we can keep him in that sort of vein, then we're lucky. Are we relying on him too much, though, Rory?
There is a dependency issue here, but what I think's good about Costa is we are very dependent on him at the moment. We know that, but if he slips out of form, you know, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if that does happen, hopefully we do have a good enough, talented enough pool. At some point, Eden Hazard is going to start taking the games by the scruff of the neck and winning his points, isn't he?
Yeah.
So if that, you know, if Costa slips a bit and Hazard takes on the mantle, and then if that slips a bit, and perhaps, you know, Matic can find himself a bit of form, we do have a squad here that if everybody pulls their weight the way that Costa has been doing so far, we are going to be on for a good season, because we're averaging just shy of 2 points a game. 2 points a game, if my maths are correct, should see us in the top 4. Probably not, was that? Should see us into the top 4. So we just have to keep doing what we're doing.
Worse than mine.
We just have to keep doing what we're doing. Is a dependency an issue? Maybe.
Yeah, and something that sort of turned my blood cold when I read it today, and I hope it's not real and I hope it's just a rumour. You know, as much as I'm enjoying seeing Diego do the business game in, game out, you know, we are slightly worried about, you know, burnout, if that is such a thing. Will he be able to compete, you know, at this level throughout the rest of the season? So I'm thinking, okay, we've got like Batshuayi. He's looked decent in the few opportunities he's got. Maybe let's see a bit more of him. And today's rumour is that apparently Conte doesn't rate him or doesn't like him or didn't want to sign him. And he might well be going back on loan, back to the continent, maybe to France or another country like that. Have you heard anything? And if these rumours are true, how does that make you feel?
Jack, that's news to me, and it's terrible news. I would be in despair if he were to leave. I think that the small glimpses of him that I've seen, I've really liked.
Yeah.
I think that he carries himself very well. I think that he's been a consummate professional. He hasn't played the amount of football that he would like,
and he seems like an absolute geezer, doesn't he?
Seems like an absolute geezer. Yeah. No, where did you see those?
I saw that on the news outlet website News Now, and then that takes you to various websites around the world. So,
well, fingers crossed
it was on that today.
Fingers crossed it's nonsense, because at some point this season we are going to need Batshuayi's goals. Somebody's going to have to come in and take the strain off Diego Costa.
Absolutely.
And I honestly think that Batshuayi could be that man.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Victor Moses. Has Victor Moses made that right wing-back position his own? Comment below and let me know. Jack, your comment.
My comment on Victor Moses is, I've come full circle on him. I've got all the time in the world for Victor Moses. We all know that Moses is famous for parting the sea, but this weekend we saw him part of the defence every time he got the ball. I think he created the most chances out of anyone in the blue shirt. I think he crossed eight balls into the danger area yesterday, more than any other player. Yeah. And what I like about him is, he does play like he's got a bit of a point to prove. You know, he's been at the club all these years.
Well, it's
yesterday
4 years.
was his first official
4 years.
start, wasn't it?
Yeah,
his first debut, if you can call it that. And he played like a man on a mission. He played like a man who wanted to cement a more permanent role in the team. And he looked dangerous and direct every time he got the ball. There was none of this crab football, playing sideways, playing backwards. He got the ball and he looked to attack. And that's what I want from my wingers.
Yes, it's absolutely right. I think the important thing to note as well is, everything you said is correct. He did get the ball, bomb on, look to get it into the danger area. But he did his duty going back. You know, he's a right wing back these days.
Yeah.
He marshalled the back line brilliantly. He worked so hard. You have to concentrate so much there. And do you know what I think is quite funny? This wing back thing is quite a fashionable thing, and I'm sure that a lot of you play football. You know, we play football together. I find it so funny when when your manager will go, right, we're going to play wing backs today. Raw, you're right wing back. You go, yeah, all right, no problem. You go up once, and then the play goes up there, and you've got to sprint back. It's
an unforgiving position.
It's an unforgiving position. It's so difficult, and it's like one mistake and your game is over, because you have a left winger who is going to be good and is going to be looking to exploit every forward move you make.
Yeah.
Victor Moses did not allow that to happen. He stayed switched on and he worked so hard tracking back all the time, and it really was good to see.
If we come up against, you know, no disrespect to Hull, but some of the better teams in the league over the course of the season, when you're going to have, you know, maybe an Ozil or a Sanchez, you know, if you're playing an Arsenal or one of those better teams, is he going to be able to cope defensively with those sort of attacking players?
Well, I think that it's only fair to judge Victor Moses on, it's not Victor Moses' fault that we were playing Hull the other day. He can only play against the team that he's up against. And everything that I saw in the Hull game would suggest that he has the discipline, the know-how, the pace, the fitness, the attributes to cope with whatever challenge is thrown at him. He seems to be very happy. He's talking a good game. And long may it continue. You know, we have some tough games coming up now. We face the champions at the Bridge in a couple of weeks. Then we face Manchester United. For me, there's no reason why Victor Moses does not start both of those games.
Yeah, especially with this new look formation. Yeah, why not? And the majority of Chelsea fans that were at the Hull match the other day would certainly agree with you, Raw. Check this out. Number 5, it's going to be a sad note. How do you solve a problem like CESC Fabregas? Fabregas, Rory, we both love him. He's not really had a chance to do anything special this year.
It's a shame, isn't it? You know, he came on against Leicester, he changed the game, he scored the goals, he was man of the match despite only playing for, you know, an insignificant percentage of it.
Yeah.
And he was given that chance at Arsenal, and I felt sorry for him in that game because we were 3-0 down before he practically touched the ball. I know that he has to take his responsibility there, but that's not his game, is it? His game, Fabregas' game, is when we have the ball, not when we don't have it. And we didn't have it against Arsenal. So I think it's a shame that he didn't play against Hull, particularly when you look at the first half. In that first half, we needed somebody who could create a bit.
Yeah.
We weren't good. Hull looked solid. They fought hard. That was crying out for Fabregas, I felt. It didn't happen, and that's worrying.
Is it up to Fabregas to be... Everyone knows Fabregas is great going forward. He's got the, you know, creative guile and all the rest of it. And he must have been told this, you know, throughout his career by various managers, you know, your defensive side isn't what it could be. Now, if your position is under threat like it is this season, you've got a manager like Conte saying the reason why you're not getting in the side is because you don't do the defensive work right. Isn't it up to you then to really knuckle down and develop that side of your game that you're lacking in. You're a central midfielder. That involves, to a certain extent, you know, putting your tackles in and tracking back.
No, I disagree. I think that's quite a harsh appraisal. I think that Fabregas, when you have him in your team, when you have his masterful guile and everything that he brings to a team, you have to compensate for his lack of height, his lack of strength, his lack of pace. You have to compensate for that. I don't think it's a lack of work rate or a lack of ability in a tackle. I just don't think he can cover the ground. And you have to compensate for that. You can't expect him to suddenly become Makelele. He's never going to do that.
Yeah.
Just like Makelele couldn't become Fabregas.
Yeah.
But it's worrying because
Conte in it.
Well, I think the other worrying thing is, the other worrying thing for Fabregas is that Conte had a really good game. I know he missed that chance. By the way. He missed that chance.
He was brilliant.
Well, he touched the ball more than, I think he's played 43 Premier League games now. He made more successful passes than he's ever made in a game before. Really? Yeah. He really did have a good game. He missed the sitter. Fabregas scores that all day long. But
This is it with Conte, isn't it? He's been asked to play slightly forward than he would have done last year. He's getting himself into that final third probably more than he's used to so far in his career. And we saw a couple of times against Hull, if that was Frank Lampard or someone like that coming onto the end.
It's an unfair comparison, though.
I know it's unfair, but as a centre midfielder, I think that's fair. We're saying to Fabregas, you need to work a bit on your defensive side of your midfield game. Exactly the same way that Conte should spend the extra hours on the training pitch,
Conte needs to
scoring goals.
Conte needs to score that chance. You can't miss that again. But Conte had a really good game, and the thing that spells trouble for Fabregas is Chelsea made 3 changes that day.
Yeah,
we bought an Oscar, we bought an Pedro, we bought an Chalobah, which I'm really pleased to see. It's lovely to see Nathaniel Chalobah getting a game, but how Fabregas hasn't got on that pitch, I think is slightly worrying. But Fabregas has covered himself. I know he's been dropped from the Spain squad, so he's going to have 2 weeks now to really focus, really get himself into Conte's plans. And like I said before, we go into some huge crunch games now, playing the champions, playing Manchester United. Cesc Fabregas can be the key in both of those games. So let's hope that he can, keep knuckling down, keep trying hard in training.
Well, they were the 5 things we've learnt from the season so far. Let us know in the comments below what you reckon. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do now.
Welcome to Backpage Blues. I'm joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online. Charlie, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to have to.